What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel today. In just a sec, am I recording? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel today. Got an Alliance War video coming up for you here, so stick around. Alright, our most recent war was against an alliance called Pay That? Pay I Tat? Pay I PYT. Wasn't a whole lot of English being spoken in the chat, so I'm not sure how you say that. But going in with kind of a standard team here, Scarlet Witch, Daredevil, and bringing back in my Star-Lord for the second time. I've got a couple of good fights here. Hopefully you'll be able to enjoy a little bit. I do apologize, it's been about a week or so since I've been able to put one of these up. Just have been a little bit busy, and honestly the last two wars have been boring. I mean, it just wasn't anything worth showing. We won both of them, but really wasn't anything worth spending my time putting together for you. This is kind of like an ode to Scarlet Witch before she gets the Nerf hammer brought down on her. This is Cyclops, which is kind of unusual for this node. I was expecting this to be Ultron. That's typically who I run into here. But I think this is probably the first time that I've run into Cyclops, which, you know, Cyclops is, I don't know, you either can figure out how to time his beams, or you just get blown up by him. Thankfully here, Scarlet Witch is doing her thing. I've got 3 regen buffs right now, Fury, crit damage, and I'm able to take him out there in about 43 hits, I think is what that was. Jumped out, came back in about an hour later, and my teammate, thankfully, had already run through the bleed node for me. I didn't bring a bleed immune champ, so he was waiting on me to get over here to this unblockable S2. I always assume this is Doctor Strange. I think I've said that the last 3 wars, and this is the first time it's actually turned out to be Doctor Strange. Accidentally hit my volume button there. I don't know what I was thinking, but with Doctor Strange, you know, if you do not have Daredevil, or you haven't figured out his timing down at that S2, he's a really difficult character to deal with. On top of that, he, like most of the Mystic champs that we're fighting against here, have Mystic Dispersion. You can see he jumped really fast there from his S2 into his S3. And at this point, I am just trying to put as much damage as I can. I made a big mistake right there. I should have let him do his S3 when he was in his defensive stance. And he ticked right over into his Fury, which increased the damage quite a bit there that I took, which is a mistake on my part. Something you can easily have worked around to take a little bit less damage. I'm feeling fairly confident at this point. You know, if I can just keep him down in his S1, you see how quickly that he jumps, his power bar jumps when he's got that Mystic Dispersion. But unfortunately, the block damage there, I was not expecting to take so much block damage, but he blew right through my defense there. So Scarlet Witch here, going all in. I'm either going to get a stun lock, I'm hoping for a stun, hoping to pull up some regens, just being as aggressive as I can right here. Thankfully, he did not go into his S2 or S3, and I was very fortunate there to get the stun. I don't know how she's going to be with the nerf. Obviously, I can't expect to get the regens, but the stuns and the power locks I don't think will have been changed. So hopefully I can continue to kind of gamble with that moving forward. Here I am expecting this to be a Nightcrawler, which at this point I have fought so many of them that I actually am feeling fairly comfortable with Nightcrawler. But as you can see, it is not Nightcrawler. I was I guess not expecting to see Jugs here, which shouldn't surprise me, but I guess it's just been a while since I've seen one. And of course, again, he is running Mystic Dispersion, which is just going to make it a really long fight. He already has a ton of armor, so until I'm able to get you know, my combo meter up pretty high, I'm just not doing a whole lot of damage there. 160. Thankfully, when it crits, I'm doing okay damage, but base damage there is only a little bit over 100. Excuse me. Big thing here is just really to keep an eye on that power meter. If you can help it, try to anticipate needing to evade before he comes at you. I know that sounds a lot easier than it actually is. That's about the only way that you're going to be able to keep him from building up that power quickly. Thankfully there, I was able to get off a special when he had no power bars, because I am going to fill one power bar for him. However, I really was hoping that it was going to be my S2 that I was going to be able to use. Just does a lot more damage. Did get the shock there, which is probably the best of all the options. The armor break is just going to give him, with his willpower, several hundred health back per tick. And the power drain is not going to help me a whole lot, so the shock was probably the best option there. This just turns out to be a fairly long fight. Right there, I'm just trying to give myself a little bit of space. I think this gets somewhere around 57. If I had to guess, I think it was 57. But I'm just constantly trying to push him back right here. Always coming in when the opportunity is there to push him back, give myself as much space as possible. You are, and like I just saw, or you just saw right there, you are able to hit him once when he does his S2, which at this point I've really got my eye on the clock. I'm not really wanting to time out on this, just because I don't have a whole lot of health. So right here, I'm really looking to do as much damage as I can. Again, I go in, thankfully I get the crit there, and then get out of the way. 50 hits, so I know I'm getting close to the end. Yeah, at this point, I gamble right here and take him out. Excuse me. Fun fight. Can be really nerve-wracking. He's such a big, intimidating character with that unstoppable when he backs you into the corner. Can be a real pain. Hopping back in after a short break, I do see that my teammate has got a good run in on Cyclops there. I think he gets him down pretty close to half health. Let me see here. Yeah, 32,000. So my plan, quote unquote, is to get through this Cyclops in one fight with Star-Lord. So I go ahead and put a few health potions into him. Was trying to just use what I had on hand. And I do apologize, I must mention, the connection for some reason on my phone was okay when I was playing, but I noticed as I was playing on the laptop that it was a little bit choppy in a couple spots, so it does cut out and come back in, yeah, right there. But I think it runs fairly smoothly from this point moving forward. What I had hoped to do, and if I could count to 10 would have been helpful, but was to get to a 10-hit combo and then only attack into his block. Obviously the 10-hit combo gives you a damage multiplier. That was the plan, but not paying attention, I only got to 9. But if you saw my last Alliance War video, and I screwed up right there, if you are attacking him when he is blocking like that, even though it is a Thorns node, you will not be taking any direct damage based on what you're doing there, which I forgot there for a split second and went in and hit him while he wasn't blocking. But as you can see, I'm doing close to probably 1,000 damage. Somewhere between 800 and 1,000 damage every time I go in there, which over time does add up. Feeling fairly confident at this point that I can take him out and misjudge a intercept, which that's the most difficult thing to do, is to get those intercepts timed down every time. So I've got to go in with Scarlet Witch, and I was really hoping to keep my Scarlet Witch with as much health as possible before I go into the next fight, because I just know it's going to be a magic. Thankfully, I do get the regen here, and I believe I follow that one up shortly with the second regen right here. Yeah. So what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to delay me killing him, which is you take him out, just trying to get a few more ticks of that health to build up. It's free health, there's no reason to end the fight early if you can't help it. Alright, now is everybody's favorite fight, I'm sure. Sarcasm. But I wish that I could take this video clip and send it directly to Kabam. Because what they're doing, and I have no problem with nerfs if they're trying to balance everything, but this really speaks for itself. If I didn't have a Scarlet Witch to fight magic with, And there's really no one else that kind of can regen on the same level with her. There is no way that I would have survived this fight. I mean, I've already gotten in 2 regens, and you can see there, she is 415 is what Limbo's ticking for there. There's just no way to survive that. This is kind of the quintessential, I think, Scarlet Witch. Why is she so useful? If it wasn't for her, we would be spending a lot more, units on revives. Again, there's 2 regens, and I don't know if that is their plan or if it truly is just trying to bring some balance. But if there's one thing I can say about this whole nerf is I really, really hope that they pay close attention to the Mystic Dispersion and to Limbo for Magik. I think without the ability to counter that, and there is no other counter other than having a high-level Scarlet Witch. I'm really not looking forward to running this fight with only a 5% chance of getting a regen. Even with all the regens, you can see I am still taking quite a bit of damage. I'm trying to just keep her down to her S1. I don't want to make a mistake and have her hit me and then get her S3 right away. So I'm trying to keep that power bar as low as possible. It's just very difficult to do. You can only get in maybe 2 or 3 hits at a time. The big thing here you'll notice, if you've been paying close attention, is I have not got a power lock yet, and that is kind of the big thing that I'm waiting for. Power lock against Magik, especially on the power gain node, is absolutely gold. It's probably the best thing that you can get. At this point, things are looking bleak, and I do finally get the power lock there. I'm able to get the S2 off, which I was hoping was going to crit a little bit harder than that, but it didn't. But really set me up to be able to finish the fight off here in short order. I mean, unless you've got an idea of how to take out Magik, and I would love to hear them. Without Scarlet Witch's regen, not going to be fun. I mean, that was 87 hits. Didn't take any physical damage from her, and she still nearly killed me. So I'm going to take a run here at Jugs, feeling fairly confident because I just played him with Star-Lord, feeling fairly comfortable with the timing of everything. I should be okay. Scarlet Witch can put down quite a bit of damage, and I'm hoping and praying that I can kind of outpace the debuff willpower that he's going to be getting, the health regen from that. And things start off well. I've got a power lock here, and then, well, yeah. Screwed that one up pretty bad. I overlooked the simplicity of the S1 and got myself killed. Well, at this point, we've got about an hour left, and as you can see, the enemy has come back with a vengeance. I think they were all just kind of waiting around to see how poorly we did before they jumped in to see how much exploration they needed. But they have jumped pretty far ahead of us now. I do not think that we're going to be using any items to kind of push ourselves through this. We've got map 6 coming up in a couple days, and I think we're trying to save up what few units we have, what few items we have for that. I think we've still got, pretty much everybody's dead. We've got one person left alive to come in, but I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. There were a couple good fights, a couple of foolish mistakes that I made, but hopefully it was enjoyable for you. Thanks as always for stopping by. I appreciate the support that you guys have given me in the last couple of weeks as I have kind of begun my YouTube adventure here. Until I see you in the next video, have a great day.